Hey there, scholars. It's Mrs. Iredale on another day of math exploration. Today our question is, how many fraction parts make a whole? Or how many parts make a whole? Well, when we're thinking about that question, I want you to consider what a whole means. A whole can be anything. Any whole you want it to be. It can be a large whole, a small whole, but for our sake, we're going to say it's one unit. And unit's a good word to think of when you're thinking of fractions. It's one whole unit. Now, with fractions, we know that fractions are numbers, but they are just a number that has been broken into equal parts. So, right here I have 3 equal parts. I think we can agree that they're all the same size, and we've identified them as 1/3. That tells us that the whole has been broken into, what's our denominator? 3 parts. So when the denominator reads 3, that tells us that we're going to have to put 3 whole parts, 3 whole parts together to make a whole, okay? So let's think about it with another type of whole, okay? We've cut this whole unit into half. How many halves does it take to make a whole? 2. 2 halves make a whole. So let's look at this example here. So this here is just a bunch of different fractions that I've created. Please notice that our whole is this nice little hexagon shape, but all of our wholes are the exact same size. That's super important when dealing with fractions. Your wholes have to be the same size, okay? One whole means it's a number. It's a whole number. It's not been cut in half. There's our one whole. Now, on this one here, we see that the whole has been cut into half. You'll see that 2 halves are required to make a whole. When the denominator is 2, that means it takes 2 halves to make a whole. 2 halves equals a whole. When we look at our whole here, we see that it's been cut into 3 equal pieces. And you'll see that our whole, again, has been cut into 3 equal pieces. When we put those 3 equal pieces together, it equals a whole. So how many thirds do you need to equal a whole? 3. You need 3 thirds to equal a whole. Do we see a pattern over here that we notice? Let's look at our last example down here. Okay, this is another hexagon. It's the same shape as the other, but this time it was cut up into 6 pieces, okay? So each of these unit fractions equal 1/6. That means it takes 6 unit fractions to equal a whole. So how many 6 are required to equal a whole? 6/6. So do we see a pattern here, scholars? When the numerator and the denominator are the same, it equals 1 whole. 2 halves equals a whole, 3 thirds equals a whole, and 6/6 equals a whole. Thanks for listening. See you next time.